Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am Jennifer Huber, also known as Solo Travel Girl, and since June of 2022, I've been using Mounjaro to manage my type 2 diabetes. So before I get into this week's update, I just want to remind you that I'm not a healthcare professional, and I'm just sharing my personal experience and opinion about using Mounjaro to manage my type 2 diabetes. Also, I have no relationship with the drug manufacturer Eli Lilly, and I have no relationship with any pharmacies that are dispensing Mounjaro. Yeah, so Mounjaro basically has been a really game changer in my life. Sure, I have lost about 60 pounds since being on the medication. I started off at 197, and you'll hear what I am later on in this video. My weight has been creeping up a little bit each week. So did I gain weight again this week? You will see. Also, most importantly is how my A1C is so much better. I started off at 8.2, and when I last had it checked, it was 5.6, and that was last month, the end of last month. So yeah, that puts me in the normal range. Almost on the cusp of pre-diabetic, but still considered in the normal range. I had high blood pressure before joining this journey, experiencing this journey of Mounjaro, and I no longer have high blood pressure. I'm no longer on high blood pressure medication. I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and that has since been reversed. The liver is really an amazing organ in that it can regenerate itself when you treat it right. And my cholesterol numbers, dealing with high cholesterol, but my numbers look pretty good, and they've been creeping down. I did post a cholesterol video a couple weeks ago, so I'll put a link up here for you to go check out if you're new here. Anyway, yeah, so week 87, let me pull up my notes on my laptop. First off, I apologize. I have been just rocking and rolling all week long. I did have Monday off. However, I drove to the Daytona 500. I haven't posted a video about that yet, but it's basically without traffic. It's a 3.5 hour drive one way from my house to Daytona. If you know Florida, going across I-4, there was traffic backup, so it took me about 4.5 hours to get there. Watched the Daytona 400, the Daytona 500 for the first time. And I'm not really a race car enthusiast, but it was pretty cool. But anyway, I drove back, and basically I rolled into my driveway at 3 o'clock in the morning, slept for about 3 hours, and then went to work. And then I have had things going on ever since. Today is Sunday. Yesterday I met up with some family at the Everglades Wild Hog Barbecue. When I talk about food, we'll talk about that. But today I worked at the La Belle Swamp Cabbage Festival with the world famous armadillo races. Here's a picture of an armadillo in case you've never seen one. They're kind of cute, and they are treated like royalty for these races. They are captured before the race, and then they're just taken care of, and then they are set free. So anyway, forgive my appearance, and the thumbnail that I used this week was actually taken yesterday with a skunk ape. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like related to the Yeti, the Bigfoot. The swamp ape basically lives in the Everglades, and apparently he's really smelly. So rumor has it that if you're out on US 41 going across the Everglades on a hot summer night, that you could most likely smell the skunk ape before you see the skunk ape. I don't know. I've never had that experience. I hope I don't have that experience. So this is my appearance. I'm feeling a little tired, feeling a little anxious, just because I still have a lot of things to do tonight, and I have another full plate ahead, rocking and rolling, more weekend events to work. Yeah, this is just wild. Also this week, and I haven't even viewed it yet, I was interviewed by a local ABC news station a week ago about solo travel. So they're looking for a solo travel expert. They found my blog and they reached out. So I filmed a story with them last week, and then it aired on Thursday, this past Thursday. Again, I haven't seen it just because I've been so busy and getting from different events and having all sorts of events and activities. I did have a volunteer event in there as well. So when I find the link, I will share that accordingly so you can see how it is. And that's how my week has been. Just trying to just trying to be the best person I can and hold it all together and just realize that I can't do everything and just giving myself some grace. So, excuse me. Oh, I'm tired. All right, so week 87 of Mounjaro, week 27 at the 7.5 milligram dose. So what happened this week? Did I gain weight? Is the upside trending up? Actually, no, I didn't gain any weight. So no weight. Yay! So that's good. So I'm still at 136 pounds. When I started this journey again, I was 197, so it's still barely just over 60 pounds that I've lost since being on Mounjaro. Exercise, as I mentioned, I've just been going nonstop. So primarily my exercise has been walking, especially walking my dog twice a day. And I did put my dog in the kennel, as you remember, last week. So Monday he was in the kennel and I picked him up on Tuesday. But other than that, I make sure that I walk him before I go to work and then I walk him when I come home. And then other than the physical labor with the volunteering this week and the other work project I did today, just a lot of walking. My glucose, I haven't dug out my old monitor just to compare with the new one, so I haven't checked my glucose in a couple weeks. I still am on 1,000 milligrams of metformin twice a day. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. He's been itching up a storm. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm still on the 1,000 milligrams of metformin twice a day, and perhaps when I meet with my endocrinologist, I could talk to her about easing up on that. Nutrition, I'm being mindful. However, yesterday, as I mentioned, was the Everglades Wild Hog Barbecue. Had one of my favorite things, which is still one of my favorite foods, is roasted corn. So I had roasted corn. And then I had some fried pumpkin bread with some cinnamon apples. It tasted okay. It sounds, my taste buds have dulled since being on Mounjaro, and food tastes different, and things that I used to love I no longer like or enjoy, like popcorn. I never thought I would not like popcorn. Haven't had a craving for it at all. And yeah, anyway. So I had this fried pumpkin bread, which is actually made by a Miccosukee Indian, and she was there frying it up in this big vat. And that lasted me the whole day. I munched on it. I did get a barbecue sandwich, and I took a couple bites of it, and then I packed up the pulled barbecue, and then I brought it home for my dog to enjoy, which is still in the refrigerator, so perhaps I'll get that tomorrow. Today, at the Swamp Cabbage Festival, I had fried swamp cabbage fritters. If you don't know what swamp cabbage is, you might have heard of hearts of palm. Basically, it's from a young juvenile cabbage palm tree, and eat a tree, so to say. That's the slogan of the Swamp Cabbage Festival. Basically, the swamp cabbage / hearts of palm is harvested from a young cabbage palm tree, and unfortunately, when it's harvested, the tree is destroyed. I always think it's a little cannibalistic because the cabbage palm is the state tree of Florida, so we're eating our state tree. But I guess they are bountiful out in the woods. Then I also did have some strawberry shortcake. Now, getting back to the fritters, I didn't eat this whole the picture I showed you of the fritters, I didn't eat the whole thing. I actually shared that. So I only had about 3 or 4 different fritters. And then I did have some strawberry shortcake, and I did eat the whole thing. And then when I came home for dinner, I fried up some tofu, and I put some teriyaki sauce on that. So that was my meal. So definitely not on the healthy side, but everything is okay in moderation. So I guess that's it for this week's update. I hope you're having lots of success. If you're starting out on this journey, my number one piece of advice is don't compare your journey to my journey or someone else's, because my experience is going to look different than your experience with Mounjaro, and it's also going to look different than someone else's experience on Mounjaro. And also, I do want to thank everyone, for your comments. I do appreciate them, and I know I'm slocus pocus in responding to them, but I do appreciate them. And I know there's some questions in there, and I'll get to them over time. All right, my friends. I hope you have an awesome week. And remember, not only be kind to others, but please be kind to yourself. I'll catch you next week. Bye.